एजुकेशन फाउंडेशन को नहीं दिए, माइनॉरिटी फाइनेंस डेवलपमेंट कॉर्पोरेशन को दे दिए गए। कैसे खर्च हुए कि वो 50 जिलों में 1-1 करोड़ रुपया भेज दिया गया डीएम के पास। जो जिले जहां पर मुसलमान 25, 30, 35% है वहां भेज दिया गया, लेकिन वो मुसलमान के ऊपर खर्च नहीं हुआ, वो जिले में खर्च हुआ। तो आपने बहुत बड़ा एहसान किया। हमारे यहां उर्दू में कहते हैं हातिम ताई की कब्र पे लात मार दी कि साहब आपने 50 करोड़ मुसलमानों को दे दिए। इस साल हम सोच रहे थे कि शायद, क्योंकि हमने चिट्ठियां लिखी, उसके बाद प्रधानमंत्री जी को लिखी, चिदम्बरम साहब को लिखी, माइनॉरिटीज ने इस पर काफी शोर मचाया, लेकिन उसके बाद क्या हुआ कि इस साल के बजट में जो हमें आपने अपने भाषण में बड़ा अच्छा भाषण, जैसा कि मैंने कहा, करते हैं, माइनॉरिटीज का अलग से स्पेसिफिक हेड बनाया गया माइनॉरिटीज का। हमने कहा शायद इसमें बहुत भारी कुछ मिलने वाला है, और माननीय मंत्री जी ने कि minorities would have to be brought more into the developmental process. I propose to increase the equity support as may be required for the National Minorities Development and Finance Corporation. मैं जानना चाहता हूं कि as may be required का क्या मतलब है? क्या आप नहीं समझते कि it is required now at this juncture, at this moment? 50 साल से क्या जरूरत नहीं थी, आज क्या ज्यादा जरूरत नहीं है? आज उन्होंने आपकी तरफ देखा नहीं है, आज उन्होंने सेकुलर एक सरकार बनाने की बात नहीं की है, तो आज आपको मे बी रिक्वायर्ड का क्या मतलब था? आप कहते हैं कि हाँ हम दे रहे हैं 100 करोड़, हम दे रहे हैं 200 करोड़, और यही चिदम्बरम साहब थे जिन्होंने ये माइनॉरिटीज डेवलपमेंट फाइनेंस कॉर्पोरेशन अपने ड्रीम बजट में 97 में बनाई थी, और उस वक्त कहा था कि हर 100 करोड़ का हम इसमें जो है कॉर्पस बना रहे हैं, हर साल 100 करोड़ बढ़ाते जाएंगे। आज तक नहीं बढ़ के दिया, और आज भी आप मे बी रिक्वायर्ड की बात कर रहे हैं। उसके बाद कहते हैं सर्व शिक्षा अभियान में हम जो है माइनॉरिटीज के एरियाज में देखेंगे कि सर्व शिक्षा अभियान का पैसा पहुंचे। मैं जानना चाहता हूं, जब सर्व शिक्षा अभियान की बात हो रही है तो क्या माइनॉरिटी के बच्चे इस देश के शहरी नहीं है? क्या वो 10%, 15% नहीं है? क्या 10-15% उन पर खर्च नहीं होना चाहिए? इसलिए मैं कहना चाहता हूं कि सर्व शिक्षा अभियान का, क्योंकि वो ज्यादा पिछड़े हुए हैं, उनमें शिक्षा की ज्यादा कमी है। जो भी कारण हो, ऐतिहासिक कारण हो, आर्थिक कारण हो, देश के विभाजन का कारण हो, जो भी कारण रहे हैं, उन शिक्षा में ज्यादा पिछड़े हुए हैं। आप कम से कम सर्व शिक्षा अभियान का 15% जो है माइनॉरिटीज, खासतौर पर मुस्लिम माइनॉरिटी के लिए जो है आवंटित कीजिए। उसको जब तक आप नहीं बांधेंगे उन तक पहुंचने वाला नहीं है, क्योंकि मेरा एक्सपीरियंस जमीन के ऊपर यह है कि जमीन के ऊपर चाहे सर्व शिक्षा अभियान हो, चाहे आवास विकास की योजना हो, चाहे इंदिरा गांधी आवास विकास हो, कोई भी योजना होती है, उसमें जो अफसर है नीचे बैठा हुआ, मुसलमान को हिस्सा नहीं देता। मुसलमान तक खबर भी नहीं पहुंचती कि क्या हो रहा है और कैसे मिलना है, और जो अप्लाई करता है उसे नहीं मिलता। तो इसलिए जब तक आप उसको बांधेंगे नहीं, जब तक आप उसे फोर्स नहीं करेंगे, तब तक उसको मिलने वाला नहीं है। इसलिए मैं देश के हित में कहता हूं कि इसको आपको करना चाहिए। खुशी की बात है कि चिदम्बरम जी आ गए हैं। उर्दू के लिए भी उन्होंने बड़ी मोहब्बत दिखाई। उर्दू को, मेरा सबसे बड़ी शिकायत यह है कि उर्दू को माइनॉरिटी की भाषा कहा गया, माइनॉरिटी के हेड में रखा गया। मैं कहना चाहता हूं उर्दू माइनॉरिटी की भाषा नहीं है। हम बार बार इस बात को कहते हैं, उर्दू के साथ अन्याय है ये। उर्दू इस देश की भाषा है, इस देश के सारे लोगों की भाषा है, और उर्दू को खत्म किया जा रहा है। तो इस देश की 1000 साल की जो गंगा जमनी तहजीब थी, उसको खत्म किया जा रहा है। दोनों तरफ है, दोनों तरफ है, दोनों तरफ। अटल जी भी माइनॉरिटी का वोट लेने के लिए उर्दू की बात करते थे, 2 करोड़ उर्दू टीचर लगाने की बात करते थे। बहरहाल 50 इसमें क्या किया गया कि उर्दू के टीचर लगाए जाएंगे यूपी बिहार में, पैसा यहां आवंटित नहीं किया गया। लेकिन जब मैंने पता किया तो पता लगा कि 1 करोड़ रुपया उर्दू टीचर्स के लिए दिया जाएगा इस बजट में, 1 करोड़ रुपया। मैं आपको बताना चाहूं, आज उर्दू के टीचर्स अवेलेबल नहीं है। क्यों अवेलेबल नहीं है? इसलिए अवेलेबल नहीं है कि जो उर्दू से बीए करता है, उर्दू से जो एमए करता है, उसको किसी बीएड कॉलेज में एडमिशन नहीं मिलता। वो जो है उस कंपटीशन में नहीं आ पाता, और नतीजा ये कि जब उर्दू के टीचर आप लगाना चाहते हैं तो उर्दू के टीचर नहीं मिलते। तो पहली चीज तो मैं कहूंगा कि उर्दू का टीचर्स ट्रेनिंग कॉलेज ये कम से कम खोलने के लिए आप जो है, अगर उर्दू से मोहब्बत है चिदम्बरम जी, तो 10-20 करोड़ रुपए उसके लिए आप दे दीजिए। चिदम्बरम जी ने उर्दू की बात की है, ये सारी बातें की हैं, लेकिन जो भी इनकी स्कीम है सोशल जस्टिस के लिए, ह्यूमन रिसोर्स डेवलपमेंट का जो पैसा है, उसमें मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा कि उसको आप आवंटित कीजिए, वरना वो अकलियतों तक जो है वो रकम पहुंचने वाली नहीं है। अब मौलाना आजाद एजुकेशन फाउंडेशन की बात मैं करना चाहूंगा। उसमें 100 करोड़ का कॉर्पस बना था, जिसमें 70 करोड़ रुपए एजुकेशन फाउंडेशन को मिले थे और 30 करोड़ रुपए सरकार के पास थे। सरकार उससे जो इंटरेस्ट मिलता था वो इंटरेस्ट मौलाना आजाद एजुकेशन फाउंडेशन को दे देती थी। इसको बढ़ाने की जरूरत थी। हाथ की सफाई चिदम्बरम साहब ने दिखाई, बहुत अच्छी हाथ की सफाई दिखाते हैं, जादूगर भी है साथ में। तो हाथ की सफाई दिखाई। लोकसभा में कल यह ऐलान किया कि हमने मौलाना आजाद एजुकेशन फाउंडेशन का कॉर्पस जो है वो 100 करोड़ का कर दिया। अरे 100 करोड़ का पहले ही था, 70 करोड़ उनके हाथ में था, 30 करोड़ सरकार के पास था, उसका इंटरेस्ट मिलता था। आपने 100 करोड़ करके एक नया पैसा नहीं बढ़ाया। तो ये मजाक मत कीजिए। अगर आपको करना, कम से कम कॉर्पस 500 करोड़ का होना चाहिए। डिप्टी चेयरमैन साहब, 500 करोड़ का कॉर्पस होगा तब 40 करोड़ रुपए साल का इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा। तो इतनी बड़ी आबादी के लिए, 15 करोड़ की आबादी के लिए क्या 40 करोड़ रुपए का जो इंटरेस्ट है बहुत भारी चीज है। अगर हम अपने देश के दलितों के लिए, जिनके लिए हमारी सारी भावनाएं, उनके लिए 6253 करोड़ रुपए आवंटित कर सकते हैं, शेड्यूल कास्ट और शेड्यूल ट्राइब के लिए समर्थन करता हूं मैं इसका पूरा, तो क्या इस देश के मुसलमानों के लिए 500 करोड़ रुपए आवंटित नहीं कर सकते? मौलाना आजाद एजुकेशन के लिए हम 500 करोड़ नहीं ले सकते कि जिसमें से हम 40 करोड़ रुपए साल के उनकी एजुकेशन पे, स्कॉलरशिप के ऊपर उनके खर्च कर सकें? आज भी जो आप दे रहे हैं 100 करोड़ आपने किया है, उससे कितना मिलेगा? 8 करोड़ रुपए साल का। 8 करोड़ में से 4 करोड़ रुपए, 5 करोड़ रुपए एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन पे, ऑफिस पे खर्च हो जाएंगे। मुसलमानों को के लिए, एजुकेशन के लिए, स्कॉलरशिप के लिए, स्कूल बनाने के लिए 3-3.5 करोड़ रुपए देंगे। अगर 8 करोड़ भी लगाएं तो 50 पैसे फीसद हर मुसलमान के हिस्से में 50 पैसे आते हैं। ये औकात। तो आप ये सारा वोट लेकर आए हैं, आप बड़ी माइनॉरिटी की बात करते हैं, आप सेकुलरिज्म के नाम पे सरकारें बनाते और गिराते हैं, आप सेकुलरिज्म के नाम पर आपने मापदंड बना दिया है सेकुलरिज्म को। लेकिन सेकुलरिज्म सही मानों में देखा जाएगा जब आप इस देश के पिछड़ों को, माइनॉरिटीज को, कुचलों को आगे बढ़कर उनके लिए काम करेंगे। इस तरह से उनके साथ मजाक नहीं किया जाएगा। आज मैं समझता हूं कि जो हो रहा है वो माइनॉरिटीज के साथ एक मजाक है।
Take note of all these points. So far as he has made specific points, good suggestions he has made.
Thank you very much, sir. But unfortunately, I don't think that anybody has paid attention to what I have been saying. Is it because I am speaking in Urdu or whatever? बहरहाल मैं एक और भी आखिर में मैं आपके पास अपने प्रदेश की बात करना चाहूंगा, उत्तर प्रदेश की बात करना चाहूंगा। चिदम्बरम जी से खास तौर पे मैं चाहूंगा कि वो ध्यान दें उत्तर प्रदेश के सवाल पर, क्योंकि उत्तर प्रदेश बहुत पिछड़ा हुआ प्रदेश है मान्यवर, और वहां पे 18 करोड़ की आबादी है। इस 18 करोड़ की आबादी वाले प्रदेश को आपने कोई कदम नहीं उठाया। आप एक देश को आगे ले जाने की बात करते हैं, भारत निर्माण की बात करते हैं। भारत निर्माण कैसे संभव है अगर उत्तर प्रदेश का भी निर्माण साथ में नहीं होगा? उत्तर प्रदेश ने आपसे स्पेशल पैकेज मांगा, उस पर कोई ध्यान नहीं दिया गया। मुख्यमंत्री आकर मिले प्रधानमंत्री से, चिदम्बरम जी से मिले, उस पर कोई ध्यान नहीं दिया गया। आपने उत्तरांचल में स्पेशल इकोनॉमिक पैकेज दिया है, स्पेशल इकोनॉमिक जोन बनाया है। वहां पर सेंट्रल एक्साइज ड्यूटी में एग्जम्पशन दिया गया 8 से 24% का 10 साल के लिए। इनकम टैक्स में एग्जम्पशन दिया गया उत्तरांचल में पूरे 1 साल का, और 30% 5 साल के लिए। नतीजा क्या हो रहा है कि हमारे उत्तर प्रदेश में सहारनपुर से, बरेली से, मुजफ्फरनगर, मुरादाबाद, रामपुर, इन सारे इलाकों से उद्योग का पलायन हो रहा है। हिंदुस्तान लीवर जो है वो अपनी फैक्ट्री लेकर चली गई उत्तरांचल। सड़क के इस पार उत्तर प्रदेश है, सड़क के उस पार उत्तरांचल है। वहां पर एग्जम्पशन ही एग्जम्पशन है, यहां पर एग्जम्पशन नहीं है। ये कैसा अंतर है? ये कैसा कि वो पिछड़ा है, ये पिछड़ा नहीं है। हमारे साथ आपने बनाया था एक प्रदेश, बहुत अच्छा किया बनाया, लेकिन हमारे साथ तो ये अन्याय मत कीजिए। हमें उत्तर प्रदेश को पैकेज मिलना चाहिए। अगर ये पैकेज नहीं मिलेगा, मैं चाहूंगा कि जब अपना जवाब दें वित्त मंत्री जी, तो इस पर वो बताएं कि क्यों, कि क्या मापदंड है, क्या मापदंड पैकेज दिए जाने का यह है कि आपको किसने वोट दिया है, किसने नहीं दिया है? क्या राजनीतिक मापदंड है? अगर राजनीतिक मापदंड होगा तो भारत का निर्माण नहीं हो सकता। भारत के निर्माण के लिए राजनीति से ऊपर उठकर आर्थिक मापदंड बनाने होंगे। आप हमें दीजिए ना दीजिए, दूसरे को दीजिए, लेकिन कोई तो मापदंड। तो मापदंड बनाकर चलिए,
आप
कोई तो
कंक्लूड
मापदंड
कीजिए।
बनाकर चलिए, कोई बुनियाद बनाइए, उस बुनियाद पे आप चलेंगे तो नतीजा ये होगा कि भारत का निर्माण हो पाएगा। वरना भारत का मैं नहीं समझता कि जिस तरह से हम निर्माण चाहते हैं, जिस तरह से विकास चाहते हैं, वो नहीं हो पाएगा। तो मैं खास तौर पर माइनॉरिटीज के सवाल पे मैं चाहूंगा कि पूरा सदन मेरा समर्थन करे, क्योंकि माइनॉरिटीज की जो बात है, खासतौर पर इस देश के मुसलमानों की जो बात है, उस पे इस देश के मुसलमानों ने आज अगर हमें सानिया मिर्जा दी है, अगर इरफान पठान दिया है, अगर हमें आज जो है सलमान खान दिया है, तो क्यों दिया है? क्योंकि उन क्षेत्रों में, फिल्म के क्षेत्र में, संगीत के क्षेत्र में, आर्ट के क्षेत्र में, स्पोर्ट्स के क्षेत्र में कोई भेदभाव नहीं होता। ये सेकुलर क्षेत्र है। फिल्म, मैं कहना चाहता हूं, फिल्म के बारे में बड़ी बुरी बातें कही जाती हैं, लेकिन मैं सलाम करना चाहूंगा भारत की फिल्म इंडस्ट्री को कि एक सेकुलर फिल्म इंडस्ट्री है, सबसे ज्यादा सेकुलर फिल्म इंडस्ट्री है। खेल में सेकुलर है, संगीत में सेकुलर है। जी हाँ, वहां हम आते हैं, अगर हम वहां आते हैं तो हम कुली क्यों नहीं बन सकते? मुरादाबाद में कुलियों का सर्वे किया गया, जहां मुसलमान शहर के अंदर 60-70% है, कुलियों में मुसलमान 15% था। क्या मुसलमान कुली भी नहीं बन सकता? जब आप लाइसेंस देते हैं स्कूटर के और टैक्सी के, उसमें मुसलमान को नहीं देते, क्यों नहीं मिलते? मुसलमान में सलाहियत है। कारगिल के अंदर शहीद होने वालों में 8% मुसलमान थे। फौज में कितने प्रतिशत है? 2%। फौज में 2% है। शहीद होने वालों में 8% है। मेरे भाई, जब कोटा की बात आती है, टाडा की बात आती है, तो पहले मुसलमान याद आता है, और जब विकास की बात आती है तो मुसलमान याद नहीं आता। क्यों हमारी हर लड़की सानिया मिर्जा नहीं बन सकती है? हमारा क्यों हर नौजवान जो है कारगिल पे जाके शहीद नहीं हो सकता? हो सकता है। आप मौका दीजिए, और ये देश के विकास के लिए, देश के संतुलित विकास के लिए, आतंकवाद से लड़ने के लिए, देश पे बांटने वालों से लड़ने के लिए, जो हमारे देश के विरोधी हैं, दुश्मन है हमारे पड़ोसी, उनसे लड़ने के लिए ये अति आवश्यक है, और इसमें मैं सबका समर्थन चाहूंगा। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
The house is urgent to meet at 2:30 p.m. Now, Mr. Dr. K. Malaisamy, your party has got 23 minutes. I hope you will
I'll be much
adhere to
ahead
the
of
much.
my 23 minutes.
You will spare some time for others also.
Thank you very much, you sir, enabling me to make my presentation on behalf of ADMK, which is the ruling party in Tamil Nadu. It is my pleasure and privilege to speak on the most important subject, namely general budget, which is the axis and assistance around which the entire government revolves. Sir, the budget is not a statement of receipts and expenditure. On the other hand, it is not only the receipts and expenditure and estimation of resource and resource mobilization. On the other hand, it is the policy of the government. While in the process of the 3 P's, namely planning, preparing and performing the budget, it is viewed with the political, social, administrative realities of the country as a whole. Sir, the budget has been presented by many governments. One government may come and present, and some other government may come and go. So, the frequent changes of the government leads to a hurdle of consistency and continuity for policies and effective implementation. Not only that, sir, when a new government comes, they invariably undo, particularly when they are opposing the earlier government, undo what all they have already done. So, in other words, they are subject to various other compulsions and constraints. For example, the UPA government has got its own constraints and compulsions from its own allies and partners. Now, the government, after having seen that the compulsion and other things, many of the budgets are made in an ad hoc manner or with political expediency. Sir, this is the way that I look upon the background of the budget and the presentation. Now, coming to the budget proper, the Honorable Finance Minister, in his budget speech, by virtue of his background as a well-informed and well-learned finance minister, under his apex leadership, has able to prepare the budget speech and presented it. In his presentation, in his opening remarks itself, he has said that the UPA government has charted to reap the concept and the harvest of the utilitarian theory, namely the greatest happiness of the greatest number. This is what he has said. Then I could also see that the language and the jargons used are very much attractive and highlighted. By making use of the word power and word play, they have made it in a different aspect also. So the bureaucrats as well as the finance minister have done a good exercise as to how to prepare an attractive budget. This is my second observation, sir. You are also bureaucrat, sir. Thirdly, the Honorable Minister in his speech has been very cautious in making a remark on certain areas, particularly the outlay and the outcome. When they make jargons like the assault on poverty, on unemployment, then empowering people and trust, focus, and this kind of jargons when they used, and in the case of outflow and outcome, he has been very cautious to say that cautious to say and make some reservation that it can be explained later how it could not be done. Sir, I have got a very close friend of a journalist and a good critic, turned out to be a politician, who always used to say that a clever politician is one who throws humpty number of promises left and right, and ultimately he will know how to explain why such of those promises could not be complied with, could not be executed. Why I am telling here is that probably our finance minister also cannot afford to be an exception to that. Sir, coming to the other aspects, sir, the feature of the feature of the budget. Sir, we have seen in papers, medias and other sources that much has been said about the plus points and minus points. Some of them has given the patent price on the one side, and some of them have given the brickbats on the other. The yields and evils of the budget has been highlighted on the one side. At the same time, the well aspects of the budget has been also said. Sir, to illustrate a little, the budget has risen up to the challenges. That is one aspect of the good aspect, I mean, it is said. And secondly, the finance minister has been praised for his skillful job of preparing a budget. Then it has also been said that it is a growth-oriented and balanced budget. And it is also said that it is a gender justice. Then it is a friendly budget. These are all the plus side of the budget, sir. On the other side, they say that it is a directionless budget, and it is a off-baked budget, and lot of sectors have been neglected. Not only that, it gives lot of hopes and dreams, but it will be difficult in execution or reality. Then it is more done out of political expedience, etc. This is the other side. So there are some people who are in between, neither here or there. Sir, if you could ask me, what is your opinion on that? I like to be very objective, I like to be fair, and there are certain plus points certainly in the budget. At the same time, there are humpty number of grey areas also. Sir, the finance minister has quoted in his budget speech the famous couplet of Thirukkural. I mean, I am reminded of to quote a Thirukkural in this connection because he is so familiar with the Thirukkural authored by the great giant Thiruvalluvar, Saint Thiruvalluvar. Kunam nadi, kutram nadi, avatrul, migai nadi, mikka kolal. That means if you want to conclude on an issue, analyze the plus and minus points, whatever is on the higher side, one should make a decision. This is going to be, the Thiruvalluvar now is going to be adopted as far as I am concerned in appreciating or deprecating the budget, sir. Sir, my first observation, now coming to the body of my
So
speech,
now you
sir.
have come to first observation.
Sir,
So
sir,
now
you have been given
I mean you
20
have
sir, my first observation is that, sir, it sounds very well. Whether the sound will be really heard or will be heard is a question mark. Secondly, sir, they have preached very well. Whether it can be put in practice, that is my second question, sir. In other words, there is a great gap between the precept and practice. That is the first observation. My second observation is that he has given humpty number of schemes, sir. But most of the schemes which has been enunciated or incorporated in the budget speech are mostly the schemes are earlier schemes, and those schemes have been tailored in such a way, named in such a way, and given an attraction. So in other words, to put it in a nutshell, in a old bottle, the old wine has been put in the new bottle. That's all. This is my second observation. Thirdly, sir, he has said that by his budget, he has touched several hearts. Nicely worded, sir. I mean, to be honest with you, touched very hard. But in many places, it is likely to dry up the hearts also. Why I say so is that I can illustrate one or two things on that. Sir, in the recent past, the Dandi Yatra, the 75th celebration of Dandi Yatra was conducted or celebrated in Gujarat, in which Srimati Sonia ji was also a participant. I mean, the celebration is well taken, sir. I mean, the entire house will know that the Dandi Yatra was initiated by the great Mahatma Gandhi to protest against the levy of tax on common salt. This is the purpose of Gandhiji's Dandi Yatra. Now, I am sorry to say that under what? WAT, VAT, I mean, this item is also charged, is levied. I mean, is it not a correct precept and practice, sir? I mean, what is your precept? I mean, you are going by Gandhian principles and all. I mean, what you are actually doing? This is my first question mark. My,
to be taken lighthearted. VAT is not a central tax. VAT is not imposed by Parliament. VAT, as Mr. Jaitley will confirm, Mr. Ravi Shankar will confirm, is under entry 54 of List 2, a state law. Empowered Committee of State Finance Ministers have recommended various rates. It is entirely for the state to either impose or not impose. Parliament has nothing to do with it. The central government has nothing to do with it. The budget has not imposed any tax on salt. I don't think you should give the impression that the budget has imposed
Thank you very much for the
salt.
clarification, sir. Okay. Sir, coming to the other side of it. Sir, on this point, I mean, the finance minister has been so considerate to reduce the customs duty, import duty, encouraging some of the items of imports. What exactly the net result? I mean, most of the products which are manufactured in India, particularly small scale industries and khadi and village industry, underlined khadi and village industries, they could not compete with the multinational companies, which could not compete with the products which are coming from elsewhere. I mean, are you protecting the small scale industries or the khadi and village industries? That is my second point, second question, sir. My third point on this occasion is that de-reservation of several items from small scale industries. I mean, many of the small scale industries were depending upon only such of those items. Once you de-reserve, what will happen to the fate of such of those small scale industries? This is my third point, sir. Then coming to the most important aspect, sir, which every one of us are interested, namely the great personal taxation, sir. Sir, Ramachandra spoke, and he was an auditor and chartered account. The deputy chairman himself is a chartered account, and you have to clarify, sir. I consulted some of the chartered accounts on this issue. I want to place it before the House to consider whether what all the high sounding concessions or reliefs that have been announced is really true or not. Really true or not. Sir, you will see. Sir, we were very happy when we read that the women has been, the gender justice has been done by increasing up to 1.25, there is no tax. Okay, well taken. Then the senior citizens up to 1.5 lakh, okay, well taken. All these things were well taken. Then they said that up to 1 lakh for everyone it is exempted. So on close analysis, we could see that the 1 lakh exemption was, I mean, there was no tax at all up to 1 lakh earlier, even in earlier budget. I mean, now they say that it is exempted. What is the jugglery, sir? I mean, what is the net result? Even up to 1 lakh for others, there was no tax earlier. Now they say that exempted up to 1 lakh. What does it mean? This is my first point. Now, second point, coming to women, sir. Women up to 1.25. Sir, the relief was given in the earlier budget was 5,000, up to 5,000 rupees. Okay. Now, I mean, when, you know, now this 5,000 rupees relief is not now available. If you apply this 5,000 rupees relief, I mean, you can go beyond 1.25. So, what I am trying to say is, though it may look that as if some benefit is given to women folk, in reality it is not so. This is the calculation given by the auditor from my side, sir. Sir, subject to verification. Number two, sir. As far as sir, in reply you can come. Sir, in senior citizen, in the case of senior citizens, in the earlier budget, I mean, up to 20,000, I mean, they have given the relief. If you apply this 20,000 relief and all, I mean, if you calculate all these things, I mean, there was no benefit at all. What I am trying to say now is that either in the case of women or in the case of senior citizens, the budget looks as if a great benefit has been devolved on them. In reality, in practice, it does not come into existence at all. Sir, thirdly, the standard deduction. I mean, next, the standard deduction has been once for all taken out. So the salary class has been severely hit. Earlier, up to 1.2 lakh, I mean, they can have a ceiling or whatever it is. The standard deduction was there. Sir, what I am trying to highlight here is the personal taxation. I mean, whatever the benefit, whatever the relief, whatever the exemption, in reality, it does not exist at all. Sir, coming to corporate tax, they have reduced the corporate tax from 35% to 33%. It is well taken. Again, by decreasing the depreciation rate, I mean, it has offset. What I am trying to highlight here is the technique, the strategy of the finance minister is, he will give something on the right hand, he will take it away on the right hand, left hand. I mean, this is the way, he is a giver as well as a taker. I mean, the later part of it is not understood by many of us. We are not conscious of it. So, in case of direct taxes, he will give some concession or exemptions. By way of indirect tax, he will give some levy. So, this is my observation, sir. Sir.
Now 5 minutes are left. You should now make your observation very, very
Sir,
clear.
another important aspect, namely, he has well said that the greatest happiness of the greatest number. I like to ask, what is the composition of the group in India? I mean, nearly 80% of the people are to be taken care of. Namely, I am told that 1/3 of world's poor is in India. 1/3 of world's poor in India. Nearly 30%, 35%, nearly 35 crore of the people are below poverty line. Even out of the 35 crore, nearly 50% of the population, 50% of the population are either low income or, I mean, underemployed. I mean, this kind of people, they are using Humpty number of products. All those products have been taxed. So, where is the question of the greatest number of the greatest number? The poor people and the unemployed, all these people are in some form or other are hit. This is my point, sir. Then, in the very same vein, I like to ask the the general employment needs investment. I mean, creation of infrastructure. I mean, as far as the creation of employment is concerned, I mean, it is totally silent. They are speaking in tall claims that Bharat Nirman, I mean, has to seek, is seeking about 100 lakh rural jobs. I mean, not even a single pie has been set apart for the purpose. I mean, they may try to say that resources can be created here and there, but whether it will work practically, that is my point. No specific allocation has been set apart. Sir, another aspect is about the state and center relations, which are very, very relevant, sir. Sir, nowadays, the finance minister has said that the plan allocation, as far as this budget is concerned, has been reduced even from last year to this year, nearly to the extent of 15,000 crores have been reduced in the state, in the allocation of funds to the states. So, I mean, what are they going to do, I mean, in such a situation? The answer is that the state can go and float their own money, go to the market for borrowing. How can they go, sir? They are already on red. They didn't have enough money. When they are depending upon the center for allocation of funds, you say that you go and buy elsewhere. How it will occur? How it will happen? Sir, then, sir, I mean, they have given empowering the backward states with the regional grant fund or whatever it is. We are not against assisting the backward districts or states or whatever it is. But my point is, a well-performing state should not be penalized. A ill-performing state should not be encouraged. On the other hand, by giving this kind of money, their borrowing stage or whatever it is further added. Now, sir, the as far as the state and center relationship is concerned, our honorable minister will appreciate what is the coordination mechanism you have got with the center and the state. For example, most of the schemes, take the case of agriculture, education, etc., all these schemes which are talked about are being implemented only by the state. You are giving allocation, they use their own resources. Ultimately, the scheme is implemented. What is the mechanism that you have got for coordination with the states, particularly with the states who are not seeing eye to eye? This is my very important point. You may be very interested in a UPI partner states. There are a humpty number of other states who are not used to join with you on all issues and all. But I mean, they should not be looked upon in a different angle at all. I will illustrate a little later, sir, how.
No, little later.
Sir, sir, I mean, in this connection, I like to bring to the notice of the Honorable Finance Minister.
My long bell is waiting.
He is a minister for the entire country, no doubt about it. But he is hailing from Tamil Nadu. He cannot afford to miss Tamil Nadu. He cannot afford to ignore Tamil Nadu. He should take care of.
You have come to the final point. That is good.
But at the same time, he should have some extra soft corner as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned.
You will appreciate this.
Sir. Sir, you will be normally considerate, but you are not.
I am very considerate to you. Already.
I have not even done my 23 minutes or.
No. The stopwatch is here, right?
Sir. Coming. Normally, the first speaker will be very.
No. See,
right, sir.
The problem. I tell you, I want to tell all the speakers. There are 22 speakers now. And we have to complete it in 2 hours, 5 o'clock. The Honorable Finance Minister has to reply. So that is the constraint. It is not that that is the constraint.
Okay, sir. I mean, in another, are you going to give another 10 minutes? I mean, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Okay, sir. Okay.
Please,
sir,
please conclude.
We may not be able to highlight.
No. That is why.
Okay,
That is why I said in the beginning.
You will be reducing all this time taken by the chair and the time taken.
No, please. Please conclude.
Right, sir, I mean, why I say Tamil Nadu has been neglected, whether it is consciously done or unconsciously done, I like to bring to the notice of the House and the Honorable Minister in particular that tall claims have been made about Sedu Samudram project. Sir, this is a project about which we have been talking about centuries. I mean, during the last government, BJP government.
Mr. Narayanaswamy, please.
It took some shape.
No. Otherwise, you was.
Now it is being well talked, often talked. Whenever they come to, I don't mean our finance minister, I mean other ministers from Tamil Nadu. They come and talk about in tall claims that we have done this and that. I mean, I am surprised to see that nothing has been set apart for Sedu Samudram project. It does not move. But they may try to explain that this is the reason, that is the reason.
Mr. Narayanaswamy, you should cooperate with us. Mr. Narayanaswamy, when your turn, Mr. Narayanaswamy, see, Mr. Narayanaswamy, please, Mr. Narayanaswamy, please. You see, you will reduce the time of all the speakers.
Sir, coming to the second issue, sir. Sir, regarding tsunami, sir, the deputy chairman very well aware that Tamil Nadu is the worst hit. Out of 10,000 people, 8,000 people and all have died from Tamil Nadu, and the greatest loss in damage and everything. I mean, we are all out to do everything, but at the same time, I mean, during the last day, when the minister was answering a question, he said resource is not at all a problem. We are all out to give all assistance. We are very happy to take note of it. But our minister in the budget speech, I mean, he said he has set apart 13,000 crores or 10,000 crores. Sorry, sir, subject to correct. I mean, crores have been set apart. But our chief minister has sent up a proposal justifying all requirement about 4,800 crores as the one-stroke allocation from the center. And the central team also came and corroborated.
Please,
corroborated.
When your turn comes, you can say
that this kind of allotment can be given. Sir, now I ask a specific question to our finance minister whether the full requirement can be met. That is the message.
Mr. Narayanaswamy, you have promised me in the beginning itself you adhere to time, please. I cannot further extend the time because my problem is to how I can accommodate all the speakers. Please.
Coming to desalination plant, which is a very sensitive plant, sir, in which our finance minister is well aware. I mean, they set apart 5 crores in the last budget. Nothing has been set apart now. Now we are dearth of water in Chennai, and we are going all out to do something on
Next
that.
speaker, Mr.
But
Subramanian Reddy.
interlinking of rivers, nothing has been mentioned. About desalination plant also, nothing is mentioned. I mean, the point is, the state government is going all out. Will it not be the responsibility of the central government when they say that we are willing to go 1,000 crores for the entire country? Why not a substantial grant by way of allotment?
No, I have identified Mr. Reddy, please.
To state government. Then, sir, coming to, though it relates to railway, sir, I mean, the minister will be interested to know, sir.
No, railway is not, we are not discussing railway budget,
3G
please.
conversion from Trichy to
No, that he will not answer. Why should that? No, that is not
and
there.
Madurai to Rameswaram. Okay. Sir,
You are-
I will take a couple of minutes, that's all.
Couple?
Once I say, I will think. Sir,
Please.
kindly give me 2 minutes, I will think.
No, please.
Two minutes.
Please conclude.
Sir, by way of, tax reform, you have said so many things, sir. I like to say that while generating revenue, the paying capacity and the willingness of the taxpayer should be taken into account. To quote Anna,
No, don't quote.
tap the rich, pat the poor, tap the rich. And when you extract tax without tears, then you reduce the cost of your taxation. Then improve your equity horizontally as well as vertically. Then improve the administration by way of simplification and rationalization of the procedure, etc. Broaden your tax base, minimize your leakages. Then,
Mr. Malesa, Dr. Malesa, please conclude.
Last sentence.
Last sentence.
For a good budget and execution, the following things are needed.
You said sentence.
Word. First and foremost, direction. Number 2, political will. Number 3, professional skill to execute the political will. Then your enough vision and mission. Then decisiveness and commitment. I don't know.
I think all these things the finance ministry has.
In the wake of your
Mr. Subramanian
Reddy, it is up to you to react.
Thank you. Mr. Subramanian Reddy, you have 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Then you all.
I can't help. You ask. No, let me wait. You see, the party has got 30 minutes. You have 5 speakers.
No, see, 15 minutes I'll speak. Whether you agree or not. That's all. Sir,
Mr. Narayan Swamy, you should cooperate and then see that because now if he takes 15 minutes, other speakers should not complain.
what am I 15 minutes I'll take, that's all. Not
No,
more than that.
it left to the party.
Sir, first, let me congratulate our finance minister for having given a magical budget. I made the spellbound the entire nation. In fact, every sphere of life, every section of society was simply enthralled, thrilled, and electrified with his magical budget. I must say a versus a small quotation in the Bhagavad Gita, Lokotrayana Sanghatanaha Nirupamanaha Sannivesa Nadvitiya Nirupamaha. That means his presentation is a matchless, phenomenal, unparalleled, spectacular. Why? Because my friends, other bench, loving the budget, but namesake, with great difficulty they find little fault. And again, in conclusion, I like the budget, support the budget. In fact, in Hindu newspaper I found, respected Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji said, budget seems to be a good, it will support the growth, but it may go to inflation. That means, dil se budget ko taarif kar raha hai, फिर एक थोड़ा ऐसा बोला inflation बढ़ रहा. So like that, morning Mr. Ramachandraya, Telugu Desam leader, he says few points. In conclusion, I support this speech. That means, definitely, the democratic country, even though on the policy matter, on the irrespective of the political parties, we must accept a good cause and good result. This is the budget where Mr. Chidambaram has conquered the heart of the billions of Indians, and all over the world they made really appreciate this point actually. And also, and one more thing, please listen to me. Normally, when the budget is given, one side industrialists will get upset, one side farmers get upset, one side manufacturers get upset, one side salaried people upset, women get upset. Here, women are happy, they are given 1.25 lakhs exemption. Senior citizens, I don't know what your calculation, 1.5 lakhs he has given exemption income tax. And farmers are happy, agriculture sector, rural infrastructure, rural electrification, and textile sector, whatnot, education, health, all spheres he has covered. Our friend said he is giving money on one side, taking money on one side. You can't manufacture money. You can only do a magical budget where in a very consciously, cautiously, judiciously, meticulously, practical way, in such a way that everybody must admire. And one thing, sir, there is a feeling the FM has met the farmers' creditness. Measures for sugar, horticulture, cooperative banks, micro irrigation, knowledge centers, SH, backward districts, housing, electricity are great. Crop insurance, and vagueness on the, of course, advanced irrigation allocations are little disappointing, one friend says, that which I don't agree. Then next, the budget is a fair and balanced increase in income tax exemption of 1 lakh a year, slashing corporate tax of 30%, cutting peak customer duty from 20 to 15%, hesitating the big tick attack reforms. The budget also seeks to give a major thrust to rural infrastructure and development. And also, we find that this is the budget in the right direction. The finance minister has taken an approach of all-round development with a focus on fiscal consolidation and tax reforms. And also, the budget that has a strong focus on infrastructure, investments, along with rural development and investments in social sector like education, healthcare. Not only will this improve the standard of living, but also will expand the rural demand. The special emphasis given to the textile sector is positive, will lead to the employment generation. The decision to cut corporate tax for domestic companies by 5% is a positive step, but actual impact on the companies will be only 1.2. Sir, I also must say IT software, on one side, even though he is giving for rural and farmers and small scale everything, still he has given priority for IT also, IT software, continuing to get exemption is a great news. Both hardware and software prices are expected to come down. So I visualize the growth for the both. Job creation of 7 million is positive only if the investment is made for ITI, NIT and IITS. So therefore, sir, I must say, on one side, the gross plan has been increased by 17%. The central plan has been increased from 87,000 crores to 1,10,000 crores, that is 26.5%. A total of 75,000 crores has been allocated to the priority areas of common minimum program. And also we must bear in mind, a roadmap is to reduce the fiscal deficit by 1.1% by 2006 and 7. This is the dream of Finance Minister. The FRBM Act stipulates that every year the government must reduce the fiscal deficit by 0.3% and revenue deficit by 0.5%. This year around, the Finance Minister, in all his capability, has reduced the revenue deficit against a target of 0.5% by almost 1% from 3.6 to GDP to 2.7% of GDP, and physical deficit figure from 4.8% of GDP to 4.5% of GDP. Sir, one more thing what we would appreciate, there is a new deal for rural India. A sum of 50,000 crores has been kept aside out of the gross budgetary support of 1,72,000 crores for this purpose. The government has decided to form a corpus of 8,000 crores for rural infrastructure development fund. An amount of 400 crores has been kept aside for micro and dip irrigation. And also we must appreciate that we shall come to mission of 2007. They want to provide every one of 6 lakhs villages a rural knowledge center with the positive of the latest information communication technology. Perhaps this is a challenge job. Till now nobody has tried. Our government has come forward and FM has to be admired. Expansion of village telephones is to be provided with 12,000 crores under Universal Service Obligation Fund. So, like this, sir, one more important thing is our UPA government committed to raise the allocation of education for 3% of GDP to 6% for next 4 years. They have fulfilled it. They have given the budget 18,337 crores this coming financial year against the previous year of 8,225 crores, means 125% he has given more increase in education also. Even though some people are saying education is not provided, it is totally wrong. You cannot compare with total budget and say why only 18,000 is given. For education, 18,000 till now, no budget is provided, we have to admit for it. And also, substantial amount have been given by rural health, elementary education, midday meals, sanitation, drinking water, micro-rural development. Sir, one more thing here I would like to state. These are all the highlights of the Finance Minister's budget. Some more little clarifications and also suggestions I would like to give. Now the nation is going with the floods on one side and also drought on one side. So, Finance Minister must concentrate how to solve this problem. The Indian economy is very much interlinked with the drought and the floods. Several times, several states, on same day, on one side, some states faced with the floods, same time, some states with the drought. For that, you must give concentration in irrigation. The water should not be wasted. So, now what I want clarification from Honorable Finance Minister, as on today, irrigation projects are the topmost priority for every state in the country. Of course, Andhra Pradesh, he has been very optimistically having a very ambitious plan to have the irrigation projects and complete in 5 to 6 years and give 54 lakhs acres of irrigation facility for entire Andhra Pradesh and to solve this irrigation water problem permanently. To raise that, today the commercial banks are flooded with funds. Institutions are flooded with funds. In World Bank, it's flooded with funds. In World Bank wants to invest maximum in India only. And even commercial banks, once upon a time, there used to be a lot of difficulty for money. Today, they are flooded with the deposits. They are coming forward even to give loans to the state governments also. So, any state government, even as per the norms, they must take the permission of the central government to borrow the money also even for any purpose. What I would like to ask clarification, in case any state government wants to have borrow from any commercial banks on productive basis, and production means, suppose if you borrow and invest money, you are assured of again getting back the money to the state government and pay back the money with interest. Not for incentives. If you borrow money and give incentives, you will become diwala in no time. So that nobody can accept such a financial system. So here, I would like to clear-cut clarification from Finance Minister. He is going to give you any mechanism for all state governments that if at all they find a clear-cut mechanism of having a productive basis where they can borrow money from the commercial banks or even the public also, will they be liberal? If so, how much time they take? They should not take much time. 3 minutes. So,
No. It is
Therefore,
chair who has to give the time, not Mr. Murali Devara.
No. Say, Chairman sir, first point, I won't repeat what others have told. Listen to me. Listen to me. Normally, I do not believe in repeat the same dialogues about what others do. I've been always very conscious telling new points.
New points.
So therefore, now I want the clarification from Finance Minister for Andhra Pradesh, how he is going to give a clear-cut a permission whenever any productive purpose, any loan can be taken either from public or the institutions or the commercial
Mr. Reddy, you should cooperate with me to
and next point,
to conclude.
You took 20 minutes of bell, now we'll take on 3 minutes.
No, conclude.
So now,
No. They have the party. No, it is not individual. It is a party.
3 minutes. 3 minutes. Then next point is, sir, now in our country, the steel sector, everybody has been feeling burden of the price of the steel increase. So abnormal increase today. It has got interconnection with inflation and also it has got a link with the construction activity and also infrastructure activity. So here I want a clarification from Honorable Finance Minister. Having given such a beautiful budget, he has again given a 16%, 20% excise has increased. That 4% increase, it will not go to manufacturer, it will not go to trader, it will straightaway go to consumer, it will go to only the construction activity, it will go to infrastructure, it will go to the inflation. So here I want to ask, is it possible to re-examine this point? How is it going to help him when this 4% increase of the excise is going to have impact straightaway on the shoulders of the infrastructure and common man? The last point I would like to say, the real estate. In the real estate, the service charges 10% is given. So here my request is, in the real estate, there are the flats which are posh for rich people. There are flats which for common man and middle class people. Today in the urban area cities, middle class people, salaried people, retired people, they want only flats. They can't afford to have independent houses. So if you put the 10% service tax uniformly for all these townships and this thing, it's going to have a burden on the middle class man. This point I want Finance Minister to say. Then lastly, when in Lok Sabha, when he was presenting the budget, all are hearing our friends in other bench also. Only one point they all raised, everybody, every party.
You cannot quote the other house proceedings.
That is 10,000 rupees drawing. Of course, yesterday Finance Minister has given indication, he may not have this, but I would like to say that, first point, if anybody wants a marriage, you will draw the cash. If a man wants to give wages to the agriculture labor, once in a week, in a village, a farmer or an agriculture landowner, he has to draw the cash and give to the wages. Like that, even a small employee, a peon, a driver, you can't give the check, monthly salary also. Therefore, this mechanism which is not found in the entire world, we need not give an impression to this. We are doubting our people, the black money word curbing, it is not a good indication to the world economy that there are maybe different methods where to control. So let us have this method. So therefore, in the conclusion, once again, I appreciate, congratulations Mr. Chidambaram and Lokotrayana Sangatana Jai.
Thank you. Sri Arun Jaitley. Your party has 20 minutes left.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Chairman, sir, for permitting me to intervene on this debate. Since this House really doesn't vote upon the general budget, I wish to make a few points which are of very deep concern to me and my party with regard to what has been proposed by the Honorable Finance Minister in the budget itself. I'm sure the Finance Minister is a very distinguished professional and a person, would certainly heed to some of our suggestions which deal with the concerns of our economy as also with the plight of the common man. Let me just start on a lighter note, where in the very opening and second page of his budget speech, the Finance Minister considers his predecessor as a very lucky man. I think his predecessor indeed, also a very distinguished Finance Minister, had the support of the government in policy formulation and in giving a thrust to the economic development of this country. There were certainly many, very difficult decisions which the governments at that time had to take. And the Finance Minister had the support of the government as also of various groups supporting the government at that time. I think Mr. Chidambaram is also substantially lucky, if not entirely lucky. It's only a lucky Finance Minister who inherits an economy which is growing at 8.5%. It's only a very lucky Finance Minister who inherits an economy where there is stable inflation, where there is a record foreign exchange reserve, where exports are growing at 20 to 25%. And India is increasingly making its presence felt as far as the economy is concerned in the world context today. You are lucky, sir, because nobody has a choice in the matter of selecting his predecessor. But you always have a choice in selecting your present company. And that is where your luck fails you. Because when you choose your present company, I can certainly see the enthusiasm and the commitment with which you want to take certain steps. But then a large number of your present company members don't permit you to do so. Almost every radical step you want to take faces